All right, let's take some time to go over this practice assignment on normative and positive statements. If you don't have the assignment yet, you should be able to find a link to it in the description below. And if you haven't watched the previous video, I would suggest doing that because we go all over what normative and positive statements are. But a quick review before we get started. Positive statements describe the world as it is. It's data and facts. It's cause and effect statements. It can be tested. All right, so it doesn't always have to be true. It can be false, but it's something that is testable. Now, on the other hand, normative statements, these are value judgments. What should be? It's a possible solution. It's really hard to test because, a lot of times it's just a value judgment. So let's take a look at these statements and see if we can identify whether or not they're normative or positive. First one, the earth is flat. All right, now this one is a positive statement. It's not correct, it's not factual, or it's not right, but it is a positive statement. Can we test that the world is flat? Yes. So there's a correct or false answer to this statement. All right, the earth is round. Once again, we know this to be true, and it is testable, so it is a positive statement. Number 3, the earth is worth protecting. Now this one is a normative statement. We have people that believe one way, we have people that believe another way, and the key word here is worth. All right, it's not something we can test. Somebody's worth something, if it's worth doing it. It's a normative statement. Number 4, the price of apartments in Kenosha is too high. All right, this is a normative statement. A lot of people might believe this, but how do we test a statement too high? What are we comparing it to? Number 5, the price of apartments in Kenosha is 5% below the national average. Now this one might be correct, it might be false, but it's testable. So it's a positive statement. Kenosha might be higher than the national average, but we can at least test it so it makes it a positive statement. All right, number 6, the price of college tuition is rising because of greater administrative costs. This one, can we test it? Can we look at past data and identify that this is why college is more expensive? We might be correct, we might be wrong, but it is something that we can test, so this is a positive statement. Number 7, lower taxes pay for themselves through faster economic growth. Seems kind of opinionated, but it also is a positive statement because we could cut taxes by 5% and see if that does increase economic growth. We can test it. It might take a lot of work to actually test it, but it is testable. Number 8, economic prosperity should be shared through higher taxes. So basically this is saying we should tax the wealthier and redistribute that to the less fortunate. However, it is a value judgment here. It's a normative statement. The key word here being should. Should statements are almost always a normative statement. Number 9, the poverty rate can be cut in half through a wage subsidy program. Now this is a very similar statement, except they're saying something that can be tested. So this one is a positive statement. All right, we can cut it in half. So we could look at the poverty rate, we could implement a wage subsidy program of some sort, and then see if it cuts the poverty rate in half. We can test this. Might be wrong, might be right, but it's something testable. All right, number 10, the tax rate on the richest 1% should be raised. Now this one is a value statement. It's a judgment statement. It's a normative. Should is being the key word here, okay? We could say that the tax rate on the richest 1% would increase GDP. If we raise the tax rate on the richest 1%, GDP would increase or decrease by a certain amount and test it and be positive. But this one just says it should be raised, so it's a normative statement. All right, number 11 and the last one, the distribution of income in the U.S. should be more equal. Once again, this is a normative one because it says should. All right, this isn't something we can test. All right, so that explains the difference between positive and normative statements. At the bottom of the worksheet, there was something about you guys identifying positive and normative statements about your school, and I'm sure you guys came up with great ones. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Be sure to check out the next video. Incentives and economic systems is what we're going to be discussing in that, and I'll see you guys next time.